This issue of Wizard, the Guide to Comics opens strong, showcasing Ghost Rider on the cover, dressed in a wizard costume, with the promise of new interviews, creator spotlights, comic grading guidance, and an in-depth look at Marvel's hottest characters. The Platinum Spider-Man #1 contest is also teased. Publisher's Letter. Gareb Shamus thanks fans for the overwhelming success of issue #1. Due to reader demand, this second issue adds 24 more pages and shifts to perfect binding. Instead of trading cards, readers will receive a poster featuring the unused Ghost Rider cover. Shamus also hints at t-shirts based on Wizard covers and confirms the first DC cover is coming in issue #4. Feature, Chris Claremont and the X-Men. Patrick Daniel O'Neill interviews longtime Uncanny X-Men writer Chris Claremont. Claremont discusses the structure behind Marvel's X-Men and X-Factor books, emphasizing that all characters, from Cyclops to Wolverine, are at heart X-Men. He reveals that Marvel's original plan for the second X-Men book was a bi-weekly title with the same team, but he opposed it to keep creative synergy intact. He explains how artist preferences shaped storytelling. John Byrne's love of Wolverine pushed that character forward, while Dave Cockrum favored Nightcrawler. Claremont also confirms the creation of new team groupings. Storm leads one team with Iceman, Colossus, and Archangel. Cyclops leads another with Beast, Gambit, Wolverine, and Psylocke. After the interview, a postscript confirms that Claremont resigned from X-Men shortly after due to editorial differences. Interview, Javier Soltares, Ghost Rider artist. Javier Soltares discusses his New York roots, mostly self-taught training, and early work with DC's new talent showcase. He reflects on his rise at Marvel, steady freelance work, and landing the art role for Ghost Rider. Soltares is no longer drawing Ghost Rider but has since started a Flash project for DC with writer John Byrne. Soltares talks about the desire of comic artists to eventually write and ink their own stories. He's taken the first step by co-plotting a new story with Brian Augustin. He emphasizes that while comics are a great creative outlet, artists should not lose perspective. It's a job, and one must stay grounded. Feature, The History of Ghost Rider. Lawrence Watt Evans explores the 4 versions of Ghost Rider. The original, introduced in Tim Holt #11, 1950, published by Magazine Enterprises. A Western hero using phosphorescent paint and illusions to appear ghostly. Carter Slade, Marvel, a schoolteacher in the Old West who uses mystical powder to become the Ghost Rider. Later renamed Knight Rider and Phantom Rider. Johnny Blaze, introduced in Marvel Spotlight #5, 1972. A motorcycle stuntman who makes a deal with the devil, becoming the Flaming Skulled Ghost Rider possessed by Zarathos. Danny Ketch, the then current Ghost Rider, 1991, introduced with updated visuals and darker tone. The article explains how Ghost Rider evolved from Western trickster to supernatural antihero. Book review, Comics Librarianship by Randall W. Scott. This review praises Scott's detailed guide for establishing academic comic book libraries. The book promotes comics as educational and research-worthy material and details cataloging and preservation methods that could be adapted into university systems. Reviewer Henry T. Colonna considers the book an affirmation of comic collectors' legitimacy. Article, Comic Grading Guide. Breakdown of comic book condition standards. Mint, like new, flawless. Near mint, almost perfect, with only minor imperfections. Very fine, some signs of aging, minor spine creases. Fine, well read but complete, more wear. Good/very good, noticeable defects, minor cuts or fading. Poor, major damage, including missing pages, water damage, or stains. Grading significantly affects resale value. Feature, second print craze. Pat McCallum analyzes the rise of second print variants in the early 90s, especially Spider-Man #1 Gold Edition, which increased in value and desirability over the original. This reversed the collector trend where first prints were always favored. Publishers like Marvel and DC began embracing flashy second prints using foil, metallic ink, and alternative art to boost sales. The article also cautions readers that not all second prints are valuable. Gaming section, Wizards World of Video Games. The magazine previews. Wolverine for NES, features Berserker mode. Game Genie, Canada only at the time, allows NES cartridge modification. Super NES, Launch titles include Super Mario Bros. 4, Zelda 3, and Final Fantasy II. Genesis price drop, now $149. Includes Sonic the Hedgehog free via mail-in offer. Sonic the Hedgehog, highlighted as a must-play title with fast-paced platforming and dynamic level design. Toe Jam and Earl, a quirky co-op alien adventure. Game Gear, Sega's full-color handheld with stereo sound and backlit screen, includes columns. Upcoming Genesis games, Spider-Man, Swamp Thing, Valis 3, Phantasy Star 3, and Jesse the Body Ventura Wrestling. Feature, Dracula in Comics. Writer Martin Powell discusses the ghosts of Dracula and Dracula Rex, 1990, new miniseries published by Eternity Comics. These stories explore Dracula's origin, his complex personality, and mythological significance. Dracula is portrayed as a reluctant antichrist and eternal wanderer. Dracula Rex will feature a war between vampire factions, with Powell incorporating historical, religious, and literary elements. Feature, Badlands by Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant's Badlands is a 6-issue Dark Horse miniseries centered around the JFK assassination. Grant discusses how the character Conrad Bremen becomes involved in a conspiracy that spirals into a psychological journey. Grant emphasizes the story's realism, based on decades of personal research. The series is positioned as a crime comic, separate from superhero conventions. Artist Spotlight, Sam Kieth. Although billed as up-and-coming, Sam Kieth had already contributed to Marvel Comics' Presence, Mage, and more. The interview discusses his self-taught methods, influences, including Robert Crumb, John Byrne, and Bernie Wrightson, and interest in sculpture. Kieth hints at his goal of writing, drawing, and inking his own book, and shares thoughts on balancing creativity and professionalism. Highlighted comic issues to watch. Uncanny X-Men number 266, first appearance of Gambit. Described as scalding hot. New Teen Titans, 1980, introduction of Deathstroke the Terminator. DC's answer to the Punisher. Ads included. Full-page house ad for the Platinum Spider-Man #1 contest. Ads for comic bags, boards, and mail-order dealers. T-shirt and merchandise offers based on Wizard's own branding. Classifieds for back issues, collector sets, and rare comics. Small ads from early independent publishers and retailers selling Valiant, Image pre-orders, and gold foil editions. Outro. That wraps up this detailed breakdown of Wizard Magazine #2. For fans of early 90s comics, this issue was packed with major interviews, deep dives into Ghost Rider's history, the X-Men's changing lineup, and the growing collectible market. If you found this useful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into vintage comic book history.